Welcome to Rex Yap Unshackled. Tonight, we shall be talking about franchising. Thank you for joining me tonight. A warm welcome for those who are joining me for the first time. You see, every Thursday at 7:30, that's NZ time, I go live to talk about things that are related to my advocacy of proper stewardship. I do believe that we are stewards of the time, talent, resources, and knowledge that are entrusted to us. We need to nurture these gifts, then share, give back, and contribute because in the end, we are accountable for them. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rexshep Unshackled, and tell your friends about it. Let me know what you want us to talk about by leaving your comments below. Before anything else, I would like to thank Pasadja Customized Items for this beautiful Unshackled t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight. Great fit, comfortable, nice print. It is Pinoy owned. They do apparels, gifts, stickers, vinyl stickers, and party essentials. Visit their Facebook page, Pasadja NZ. By the way, Pasadja could mean two different things in Cebuano and Tagalog. So for the Tagalog, it's like it's custom made, Pasadja. Sa Cebuano naman is Pasadja, like it makes you happy. Like if you want to make somebody happy or make an event jolly, that's what we call Pasadja. So really good. Thank you so much for the shirt. Really nice. Unshackled. Woohoo! Look at that. So let's go straight to our topic tonight. How are you tonight? Leave some comments, say hi, shout out, whatever you want me to do. I'm here to serve you tonight. Thank you. So in the past few weeks, we've been talking about money matters. Last week, our guest was Abel Gomez of AJEA Consulting Services Limited. We talked about real estate investing, how he started. A very humble guy, very good guy. Strategies, criteria, joys and pitfall of real estate investing. So if you missed that very informative conversation, visit my YouTube channel. That's Rexshep Unshackled, and you'll find everything there. Tonight's special guest is another biggie in his industry. Nothing but the best for you, my friends. Please welcome the man behind RK Franchise Consultancy. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, mga higala, please welcome my friend all the way from the Philippines, Rodolph Kotik.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi, Rodolph.
Hi, good evening, Rex. Thank you for inviting me. Good evening,
yes.
everybody. Mayong gabi sa imong tanan.
Asa ka karon?
Sa CDO, Cagayan de Oro.
Oh, siguro dagang makurat nganong kabalo mo ni sa mong Bisaya.
Dugan na sa Pilipinas.
So how's Cagayan de Oro today?
Actually fine compared to other areas of the Philippines. We have one of the least COVID cases. So we're actually doing pretty well, actually.
Very good to hear.
My main office is in Manila, actually. So I'm the only one hanging out here in my house, in my office. And the rest is actually in Manila because they have to do the work there or they're working from home.
That's interesting that you are in my other hometown now because I actually studied in Cagayan de Oro, Xavier University, and I consider Cagayan de Oro as my hometown in Mindanao, aside from, of course, growing up in Bukidnon. So, okay, before we proceed with our conversation about franchising, I know you're the expert. I told them, you know, franchising like knowing the palm of your hands. Okay, and I'm not exaggerating. Before we proceed, could you please tell us something about yourself? Like, where are you originally from, and any fun fact that you may want to share with us tonight?
Yeah, I'm actually originally from Vienna, Austria.
Oh,
I was
okay.
an HRM graduate, and the moment I graduated, I was hired by a very big fast food chain for the franchise division in Europe to join. That was McDonald's to join them when they started up the franchise division. That was 1978. So that's when my career started in franchising. So since that time, my whole life I was actually in franchising. So the last 42 years. Of course, with McDonald's, I only stayed for 6 years, and I joined the hotel chain to be the franchise director for Europe. Then I joined the franchise consultancy, and then in the 1990s, I came to the Philippines and stayed there. and that's the
Oh,
time when I opened Aki Franchise Consultancy. So we
oh.
are.
And that's
I
the time
started
when
it
I
in
met you in
Cebu.
Cebu.
Yeah, I started it in
That's when I met
Cebu,
you in Cebu. Oh,
and then we
you see,
moved.
friends. Yeah, you see, friends. When I was still based in Cebu before moving to New Zealand, Rodolph here helped me franchise my own startup business, and it was doing good. But when we moved to New Zealand, like it was sort of left out, but it was really good. So I was so surprised to see him in New Zealand. Okay, so
Yeah,
we have a couple of background noise there, but it's all right. Part of the current situation. So,
yeah.
uh, in fact, you answered my first question supposedly, like how did you start your franchising consultancy business? So, yeah, thank you so much for that story. So, a lot of my friends, not some are close, some are just acquaintances, really. Um, they consider franchise as sort of a hack, like a shortcut to owning a business. And in a sense, that's true, right? Like because you can
In a
jumpstart
way, yes,
start.
because you don't go through the pain of a startup. You know, when you buy a franchise, you get already a made bed. You know, you don't have to build it anymore. In the sense, you know, you don't go through the trial and error stage of a new
Yes.
business because the
Rodolph.
franchisor went through that already.
Okay,
Yes.
Rodolph. Let me interrupt you on that note. Let's start with let's start with what really is a franchise. Like when you say franchise, what
Okay.
is franchising?
Okay. Franchise is actually a contractual relationship between two parties, the franchisor and the franchisee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you see the slides?
Yep. Yep. No, I cannot see the slide.
You cannot see the slide.
Yep. You have to open up another screen, I think. That's what you did earlier. Mo na gibuhat ni mo
Yes,
kanina.
yes, it's still open actually,
Oh, but I
and it
cannot
does,
see it. Okay, just a sec.
and it doesn't do it.
No, you might as well read it na lang. Or you try to close it and then put it back again. We will see if it works this time.
Yeah, that might be a little bit difficult because I remember I cut some. If you I don't know where this happened now. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
uh, generally speaking, a franchise is actually a licensing arrangement between two parties, the franchisor and the franchisee.
Okay.
And I try to open it again.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
And I close this. Okay. And it should work.
So while you're looking for that magic
Yes.
button, I'll just read some comments here. Um, Hi Miriam. Hi Christine. Thank you for joining us. T-shirt, yes, Christine. Watching from Taupo, Atilani. Thank you for joining us. Watching from Nelson, Christine is here. Hi Rodolph. Say Lani is saying hi to you.
Hi, Lani.
Okay. And then Grace is with us. Thank you so much from Newlin. Fair Rupal, Rex, hi. Miko, Kanyada, Laparan. Of course, a regular. Alan Chu, thank you so much. So excited about today's topic. Mayang gabi diha, Alan. Um, Rodolph Kotik, the franchise king. Yoo-hoo! That's from Atilani. Atilani. Rodolph Kotik, the franchise king. See, when I told you you are the authority, you're the expert, a lot of people agree with me. Okay, and even Christine is saying, hi, Sir Rodolph Kotik. Lovely to
Hi,
see you
Christine.
here. Oh, you have a lot of friends here, huh? You're
Thank you.
outnumbering your friends outnumber my friends.
Okay. No problem with me. Can you see my
There you
slides
go.
now?
All right. So
All
let's
right.
go.
Okay, let's do it. So first of all, what we consider a franchise, and we talk about business format franchising because
Uh-huh.
that's the most common type of franchising. Okay,
Yes.
99.9% of all franchises are business format franchises. So which is
Mm-hmm.
actually a licensing arrangement between the two parties the franchisor with the OR at the end, and the franchisees who buy the franchise with the double E at the end. So the
Mhm.
franchise allows the franchisee to use the business system, the trademark, and the corporate entity for the period of the franchise agreement, and the
Mhm.
franchisee purchases the experience, expertise, and method of
Expertise.
doing business and doesn't have to go through the pain of a startup.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. So
So
in theory, yes.
generally speaking, every franchisee is a legal independent entity. So every franchisee has to get their own business registration. You cannot ride on the franchisor.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Also with the taxes, whatever country it is, in New Zealand or not, in Philippines, you have to register your own tax. You cannot ride on the franchisor.
Okay,
Every
hold on,
franchisee,
hold on,
yes,
Rodolph. Hold on. So
yes,
when back to the first slide.
yes.
So if done right, actually franchising can provide you a sort of a business that's already functioning, and all you have to do is just operate it and run it, right?
Theoretically, yes, because it's a duplication of an existing workable model.
I love that. So a duplication of an existing workable model. We will
Yes,
go much later. We'll be talking about if they're existing. For example, we have viewers here who have joined us who have existing businesses. They will
yes.
know later if their existing business can be franchised. Like what are the things that they can do
We will
later?
talk about it.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
So we have answered this one. What is franchising? So shall we go to what does a franchise provide?
Give me a second because I'm still on that portion.
All right.
So
Okay. The first one. Sorry.
every
Okay.
franchisee is a legal independent entity. Also, the franchisor controls what the franchise is allowed to sell or what not allowed to sell.
Mm-hmm,
He
mm-hmm.
also controls what products has to be used, what equipment has to be used. We
Mm-hmm.
call it a procurement program, from where a
Yes.
franchisee has to purchase.
Yes.
Also, usually we give a certain radius around the franchise facility. So
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
grant an exclusive or protected territory, right?
Mm-hmm.
We also talk about an exclusive relationship in franchising, meaning the franchisee cannot compete with himself. Okay, so if you buy a franchise, you cannot have the same kind of business by yourself or another franchise of the same brand.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Yep.
like when you have a McDonald's, you cannot have a Burger King. Okay, you can you can have anything else, nobody cares, but you cannot have a
Conflict
McDonald's.
of interest.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Okay.
So that's why
So
we call it exclusive relationship.
the
And
reason
also
why.
every
Mhm.
franchisee has its own location. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Rex.
Yes, the reason why this everything resonates, like everything makes sense to me, because my business here in New Zealand is a franchise business.
Yes,
So actually, it's owned by a government-owned entity, and it's a franchise business. So I own the Northcote franchise. So I
ex-
can clearly see what you're talking about. So now let's go to what does a franchise
franchise
provide?
provide. That's right. First of all, the system standards, the way a franchise is operating.
Yes,
There's no
yes.
difference if you go to a franchise outlet or a company outlet. They're operating
Mm-hmm,
exactly the same way.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Second, the use of the trademark. What is a
Yes,
trademark?
yes.
Anything registered with the intellectual property office. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every country has a intellectual property office, and there you register like your logo or your name or your
Yes, yes,
slogans. All of
yes,
that is registered with the intellectual property office. Okay.
yes.
And
Mm-hmm,
franchises are allowed to use that.
mm-hmm.
Like for example, the golden arches, right, of McDonald's. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a trademark. So only franchises are allowed to use the golden arches, nobody else. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Then the experience and the wisdom of the franchise were gathered through the years when he's already operating.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, the franchisee gets a copy of the operations manual.
Yes.
A franchisee gets also training. Training per
Mm-hmm.
se is part of the franchise fee. What is not
Uh-huh.
part of the franchise fee is the
Mm-hmm.
allowance for the trainees or transportation if you have to go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere
Mm-hmm.
to different place, transportation, lodging, etc.
Okay. Yeah.
Then the site selection assistance. So the
Mhm.
franchisor will give his applicants the idea on what kind of locations they should be looking for, how many square meters, how many meter frontage, or particulars about the traffic in front of it, how many people walk by or drive by,
Mhm.
etc., etc. Whatever
So,
is
so
particular for his.
Rodolph, let
Yes,
me interrupt you. These are exactly the things that people who want to start a business must need to look into. Like
that's right.
looking at this, like the training, the system, the
Yes,
process, because a lot of
yes,
people start their business as if like they're only good in cooking. They'll start a business because they're good at cooking. But these are the very things that you will need to know to make that business
that's right.
sustainable, right? And that's why
That's right.
franchising could be a good vehicle because everything is already provided.
That's right. And then, of
Mm.
course, when the franchisee found a location, the
Mhm.
franchisor has to approve it or disapprove it if it's a lousy location.
Yes, yes, of
All right.
course.
And of course, also you have to provide the store layout, which has to be adjusted to the specific location of the franchise
Yes,
outlet.
yes,
And
yeah.
before the franchise is allowed to go into construction, the
Mm.
franchisor has to approve the final layout.
Okay, yes, yes.
Also,
That's right.
some big companies provide construction supervision, like among my clients in the Philippines, like Cherry's Grill or
Mm.
National Bookstore or Phoenix
Wow.
Petroleum. They
So
have their
National
own
Bookstore,
in-house
Jerry's
architect.
Grill are your clients. Oh, wow. That
You
speaks
can
a
make
lot.
actually the only 3 out of 700. Okay.
3 out of 700.
Yes.
These are major brands.
Yeah. And then again, the radio is the exclusive territory. Okay.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
In the procurement program, the list of the authorized suppliers and supplies from where a franchisee has to purchase. Very
Mm-hmm.
important is also the opening assistance. A franchisor has to provide opening assistance to his franchisees
That's
in
right.
the
Yes.
sense that when they open, a representative from the franchisor has to be with the franchisee during the
Mm-hmm.
period of opening. Then any kind of marketing strategies a franchisor is doing, a franchisee is allowed to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
effective field service, we understand two things. First of all, the
Mm-hmm.
franchisee has to be able to reach his franchisor anytime he needs help.
Uh-huh.
Today, that is no big deal. Everybody has a phone, everybody has apps, email,
Mm-hmm.
so communication is not a big deal anymore today.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. The second version is also that the franchisee has to regularly visit his franchise facilities.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
so to check also on the franchisee if they really operate according to the standards of the
So
franchisor.
so
And then
you,
of
you know
course
what?
also
You,
yes.
you know what? Looking at these things that the franchisor provides, actually it's almost like foolproof. Like everything is in there. If done properly, there's
Yeah,
no
not really everything is in, but we're pretty close to it, yes. And
yes,
of
yes.
course,
Like, wow.
the research and development for new
Mhm,
products, new
mhm,
equipments, etc. Yes,
mhm. So these are the things. These are the things that they provide, and then you can
yes,
then start your own branch. Okay, let me
that's right.
just
These are the 15 items which a franchisor provides. Normally, up to the
there.
15 items which the franchisor provides. What
Yeah.
the
So
franchisee
there
really
you
needs
go.
to get going.
You know what? This is good in two ways. One, for those who are planning to buy a franchise for whatever reason,
Yes,
this information that we have will guide you. Because if
that's
you're
right.
approached by somebody who's wanting for you to franchise their business and they cannot provide this, then
Yes,
there's something missing. And
true.
and for those who've already franchised and did not do well, then hindsight. Then you can
Yeah,
share with your friends. You can share with whoever listens to you that these are the things that they need to provide for you to
yeah,
have a fighting chance, right?
that's
So
right.
and I feel strongly about this because we have friends who have had some good and bad experience about franchising. So it's really
Hmm.
good about these things. Okay.
Okay.
So can we just go through it without enumerating like the things that they provide from the beginning? Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So
System
this
standards,
standard
use of
use of
trademarks,
trademark, experience and
experience and
wisdom of
wisdom,
franchisor, of course, operations manual. So everything should be detailed. Uh, Training. What's the next one?
site
Site
selection
selection.
system.
Yes, location approvals, tour layout, construction supervision. Sometimes, yep. exclusive territory. So you have to designate the radios, procurement programs. That's very important. See, opening assistance again. Everything is important actually. Marketing
Yeah.
strategies. That's really good. Effective field service, research and development. Yep. Okay. So let's go to
Okay.
the next one. Benefits of
Benefits
buying
of
a
buying a
franchise.
franchise.
Go, go.
You receive, of course, a proven profitable system for doing business because the franchisor and probably other franchisees made already money with it. Second is the
Ah,
name recall, the branding. A
yes.
franchise is always the cheapest franchise are the ones when they're still on the local level.
Ah, okay.
Once they're regional or national brand, of course, franchise fees and investment will go up,
Goes up.
or
The more
international
popular.
branding.
Yes. So I think Rodolph, the key here is actually a proven profitable system.
That's
I
right.
think that's the key word because if a franchisor goes near you and he cannot even show that they have an existing branch or an existing business, then that's a big no-no. I think, right?
That's right, yes. In
All
our
right.
case, we actually make it a requirement. We don't even accept clients for development if they're not profitable.
Ah, okay. So they
Yes,
should have a miracle first before they can be declared a saint.
that's right. Yes, exactly.
Okay, they have to have a proof. Okay, next one.
So the branding, that's okay. Then, of course, it's less risk than an independent startup. In a
Yep.
franchise, you always gain advice because you can always ask the franchisor, you can ask other franchisees, you can
Yes.
also ask the consultant, ask if it's our client, for example.
Mhm.
So the whole process is much faster if you buy a franchise and getting running than if you will do everything by yourself because
Uh,
of the provisions of what is provided for in a franchise. Okay, so
again,
you
I
win a
can,
lot
I
of
can,
time.
yes,
You
again, I
win,
can personally relate to that because my business right now is a franchise business. I can relate to everything that you're saying. So that's why I was able to sort of catapult, like have a good headway because everything is already there. All I have to
that's
do is
right.
just put my own way of doing things, but still it follows the franchise system. So it's really good. Yep. Continue.
Okay, now the pitfalls.
Ah,
If
pitfalls. Okay.
you might be having a hard time as a franchisee if the franchise system is not professionally developed.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Because there are some companies out there they want to save the money on the development. You see, because of course I'm not doing it for free, so they want to skip money. But on the other hand, they're screwing up themselves, and in the end, they're screwing up the franchisees.
Hmm.
You see, so it's not really good if a franchise or does not have a professional consultant with him. I would not buy a franchise from them
Okay.
because a franchisor might be good in his business, but he has no idea really about franchising. You see, so franchising is a totally different field from the actual business. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
So
Mhm.
you need also somebody who is a specialist in franchising.
Yes, yes,
So
of course, of
if
course.
if a franchisor developed his own, I would never buy a franchise from them. So that's a very big risk. Okay.
Okay.
Or they just had a lawyer for the legal, and that's all. That does not help either.
So what you're saying is it should be professionally developed, like not just
Exactly.
like out of their kitchen or something.
That's
They
right.
should consult
Exactly.
a legal consultant, a marketing
That's
consultant,
right.
everything. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So same with if a franchisor doesn't offer proper training or has no operations manual, or if a franchisor has no trademark, because if the franchisor does not have a trademark, then the problem is whoever owns the trademark can actually harass the franchisees for trademark infringement.
Yes.
So
Big
it's very
problem. Big
important.
problem for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So very important that the franchisor owns his own trademark. Okay. And then also, if you sign up with the scammers, unfortunately, this is not particularly the Philippines.
Mm.
Sorry, we have a number of scammers, and again, unfortunately, a lot of them are really the target market are OFWs. So be careful when it comes to buying a franchise,
Mm.
especially the very cheap ones.
Mm.
A lot of cards and kiosks are made just to scam people. Okay? There, of course, there's a very big number of serious franchisors out there and very good franchisors in the card and kiosk business, but the scammers are there also. I tell you
I
also
think,
how to detect the scammers.
yeah,
First,
just like, okay, let me just interrupt before you proceed with how to detect a scammer. Just like in any asset class, because we're actually talking about asset class. That's the theme for me for the whole month. Um, just like any other asset class, if anything is too good to be true, then that should, sort of
yes, it's not true.
ring a
Exactly.
ding,
Yes,
and then yeah, a lot
exactly.
of people are gullible because
Yeah,
their hard-earned money, they want to maybe double it in 2 3 years, and most of the scammers offer something that's really 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 great. Like for those who are not familiar with franchising or any other businesses, they usually fall into the trap, not
that's right.
knowing what hit them, and then before they know it, the money is gone. So
Exactly.
yeah, go ahead. How do you detect a scammer?
Relatively simple. Number one is use common sense. Like you
Common
said,
sense.
if it's too good to be true, most likely it's not true, di ba? Uh,
Okay.
Second, usually they want the money upfront. They want the money before the contract.
So bayad
If
agad.
anybody
Bayad na. All right.
bayad na, bayad muna tapos you get the contract. That's already a no-no. Okay. Also,
So bayad muna, yak later.
the franchise agreement, also the legal aspects, you can easily find it out in the contract. If the
Mhm,
contract is only 3, 4, or 7 pages, it's a scam.
mhm,
Okay, because a real franchise agreement is 25 pages or longer. All right.
mm.
Second,
Okay.
if the franchise agreement is only 1 year or 2 years, that's a sign
Mm-mm.
of a scam. The scammers
Oh,
want to get out of the business. They just want to get a lot of money as soon as possible and then practically get lost. Okay?
okay. So
That's
this,
easy
this
for them to do if you have only a 1 year contract. You
what
see?
you mentioned, Rodolph, actually resonates with me because again, friends who are viewing kaning naminaw nato ron, who are listening to us, nakikinig sa amin right now, please tell your friends, labi nag mga OFW who are wanting to invest or wanting to do a franchise, whatever it is, cryptocurrency, franchising, or whatever business, please tell them nga they have to do some checking. They have to do some due
Yes,
diligence.
yes,
There's a lot of information out there. Like, don't just trust anyone because
yeah,
it sounds good or because the return is this and that.
yeah,
Most of OFWs are not trained to be in business, so they don't know what to expect. But if they check around, it is our duty, it's our responsibility to educate
yes.
ourselves, to
And
tell your
also,
friends, your cousins.
and
Yes.
also, like most of the scammers, or none of the scammers, is a member of any of the three franchise associations in the Philippines. You see?
So what are the franchise associations in the
We
Philippines?
have three. We have AFI, FIFA, and PFA in alphabetical order.
So
Okay.
that.
I'm with PFA, and I'm the
Mhm.
president of FIFA, Filipino
So
International Franchise Association.
So what you're saying is when somebody approaches them to do a franchise business, then they should ask the first thing they should ask is, are they a member of any of the franchising
Yes.
organizations?
And also if they have a trademark or not.
Okay, so they have a
Yes.
franchise organization, and then do they have the
Yes.
trademark and all these things?
Yes.
The
Yes.
what how to counter the pitfalls of franchising.
Yes. And how long is the contract? Because if they say it's 1 year or 2 years, say goodbye.
1 year, 2 years. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a bit too short, eh?
Yes, that's what the scammers are using. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now tell us about the drawback of franchises.
Yes, these are the legitimate drawbacks. Okay. Because every franchise has to pay a franchise fee. That's legitimate. Okay, no problem.
Mhm.
So if somebody doesn't want to pay royalties or franchise fees, advertisement fees,
Yes,
then
yes.
don't get a franchise. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but that's legit. So same if you don't want to buy from the procurement program, if you think you have to buy always the cheapest stuff, even though it's lousy, then
Mhm.
franchising might not be for you. And the strongest uh, aspect is actually that a franchisee has to be able to respect the norms and the standards of
Yes.
the franchisor.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you have a problem following other people's rules and regulations, in other words,
Yes.
if you're an egocentric personality,
Yes.
don't buy a franchise. Do your
Yes.
own stuff. Do whatever you want to do, but don't get a franchise if you're an egocentric personality.
And I would say, Rodolph, that you know, sometimes if you cannot follow, like you're an entrepreneurial person, you want to start a new idea,
Ah,
franchising may not be for you because you are bound to follow what's in the franchise agreement.
yes, exactly,
Otherwise, you're in
exactly,
breach, and they could actually do take some action and
exactly.
to whatever, take that franchise away from you. That's really good.
Yes.
Now, so egocentric personality. Tell me about it. So you're saying if you franchise, for example, National Bookstore, you cannot
Yes.
change the color of the ribbon and stuff like
Yes.
that because you
Yes.
want it. No, you
No,
can't.
cannot be. Cannot be.
Cannot. Okay. So if you want to start a business quick, or like shortcut, a hack to start a business,
Yes.
then you really have to follow the franchise agreement, and
No
it is
choice.
there for a
Yes.
reason. Okay.
Yes. That's right.
So Russell Ducanti has just joined us. So let us proceed to the next one. How do you select a franchise? So that's what you're showing right now.
That's right. So first of all, examine the opportunities. So we
Uh-huh.
have around 1,500 franchise companies in the Philippines.
600.
There's also a lot of franchise opportunities in New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in the world. So whatever you want to franchise. So there's a lot of opportunities in franchising.
Yes,
Of
yes.
course, uh, it needs money to invest. Luckily, in New Zealand, you have a lot of financing opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
In the Philippines, it's better you have your own money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some banks provide also financing, but it's not really a franchise loan. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very important is also that you're interested in what you want to do. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be afraid that you don't know how to bake and you want to get a bake shop. That's no problem. If you like to have a bake shop, that's it. That's all you need. I would tell you, 99% of all restaurant franchisee owners only know how to eat. That's the that's the most important requirement for
You love
a
food.
restaurant franchise. Okay,
You love
all right,
to. You love to eat. You love food.
exactly.
Okay.
Location. That's more important. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you found something you were interested, check the background. Do you do diligence? Okay. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, you get the franchise disclosure. You can check this all out and
Yes.
check the background of the franchise and the franchisor.
Yes.
Check out his franchisees. You can ask his franchisees, how good is he as a franchisor?
And that's why it's important for a franchise system to have several branches, because then you
Yes.
can check with them, right?
Hmm.
That's really good. So examine the opportunities, cost of investing, financing. You can check around
Yeah,
type of interest, experience not required, location, check background of franchise and franchisor support, analyze and evaluate before deciding. That's really good. That's really good. So these are the things that you should know.
that's right.
Okay. Uh,
Now let's talk about the mistakes what franchise buyers are doing. A
yes,
lot of
yes. Go
people
ahead.
think they don't have to work anymore and just collect money. This is not really the case unless you become. But today you can do this actually. We have a lot of my clients have in the Philippines what is called co-ownership programs. This is particularly
Co-ownership program.
for OFWs, wherein they are passive investors in a franchise. This can happen also.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
it can be done also.
All
But
right.
if it's an active franchise, don't
Mm-hmm.
underestimate the requirements what it means to be a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
don't expect too much from a franchisor. Also, a franchisor is not a babysitter who holds your hand 24/7. A franchisor is there to set you up, to help you, but at the end of the day, you have to operate according to the systems. Okay.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Also, another problem is some franchisees when they start up, they want to save money, so they're making shortcuts in constructions. Usually, they're getting caught. In the end, they're spending more money.
Uh,
Or
let,
joining a bandwagon. There are sometimes fad out there. Every now
oh
and
yes,
then.
yes, yes, joining a bandwagon. Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Uh, every now
the
and
last
then there are
the
fad.
last one, talking about joining a bandwagon, the last fad that I sort of noticed, like it was popping up like mushrooms left and right, even in New Zealand, was the pearl something like the sago
The milkshake.
drinks.
Yeah.
Yep,
But
it was like.
okay.
Go ahead.
Believe it or not, it turned out that the milkshakes are actually not really a fad.
Okay,
And it turned out here in the Philippines, at least, it turned out during the ECQ and the GCQ during the pandemic.
okay,
Because while the cities were closed down and all the food was delivered, uh, they made the most money. Unbelievable. The volume of business the milk tea shops had.
okay.
So actually, for me, that was actually a proof that the milk tea business is here to stay. Because
So
if it would have been a fad, it would have
mhm,
gone down during the
yes, yes.
pandemic.
So how would you know if it's a fad or not? It would usually be after the fact. Like if it's
Yes,
either it will flourish, it will close.
normally, Rex, normally a fad takes 2 years.
Two
It's like a
years.
wave. You ride a wave and then it's gone. Okay. So we are already
Ah,
beyond that stage. So the milk teas are definitely here to stay. Not
Rodolphe,
everybody will survive because there's so
I,
many right now out there.
yeah,
That's a
I
different
think
story.
I think that also. Let me just inject some humor in our discussion because we're getting there. We're halfway. I think when you talk about fad, 2 years thing, I think you're talking about your girlfriends in high school.
Not 2 years at a time was too long.
Because beyond 2 years, that's girlfriend already. Below 2 years, that's a fling. Okay.
That was
let's
already at
let's
that time. It was forever already.
so let's proceed to the next one.
Yes,
Believing never.
not to be
Yep,
the
that's a
first
good one.
franchisee in a
Mhm.
system, which is wrong. It's actually good to be the first franchisee. This is also
Oh,
something
really?
Filipino. A lot of Filipinos don't want to be the first franchisee, which is
Okay,
wrong.
let me ask you this. So, in
Mm.
your 20-something years experience, are
Mm.
you saying that there are actually first franchisees who are doing very, very well?
Yes, not only that, it has a lot of advantages being the first.
Okay.
Because if you're the first franchisee, you're like the firstborn. You're getting the TLC
I
treatment, the tender
I
love
was
and
about
care
to
treatment.
say. I was about to say.
Okay.
Yes.
And then also the franchisor wants to make sure you are doing good because he wants to use you to show you also
Ah,
his other
that's right.
applicants.
That's right. They will do
Okay.
whatever it takes. Yes, yes.
Exactly. If you're the 300th franchisee, honestly, nobody cares about you. You know. So,
That's right.
but if you're the first one, you're the baby.
Again,
And you
again, you're talking like children in a family. The firstborn are always the most precious one. Because
the yes,
and it's a good thing our eldest is not with us here tonight. She's a doctor in Perth, and she would have felt good about this. it's always the it's always the eldest and the youngest and the
the
middle
youngest.
child. No, no, they don't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So don't compare only the franchise fees, but the entire investment through the whole the year. So make a proper study. Now also, this is actually globally franchise types by demand and supplies.
Yes, yes. Let's go there.
50% of all franchises are food related.
50% food
Yes,
related. Okay.
actually,
Wow.
it's in the Philippines. It's more than 60%. While in Oceania, it's less than 20%. But globally, it's 50%. The second
Oh.
biggest, the second biggest category is the vanity sector. So all what has to do with beautification. The third
Mm-hmm.
biggest is the retail. Once
Mm-hmm.
upon a time, when I started up 20 years ago, retail was number one. But today
Oh.
they sucked down. They still have the same numbers, but they just didn't grow as fast compared to the rest.
Okay.
And
Online.
then also,
Everything's online.
it has other reasons also because of the international chains, because also the second-hand okay, etc.,
Mm.
etc. Okay.
And also with
Uh,
the current situation with COVID, I think this will change again.
yes, yes, definitely it changes right again because what is also very in demand now, which is going up, is the health sector, the
Mhm.
drugstores, laboratories.
Oh,
In, the,
yes. Yes.
in Asia, it's already number three. Health is already
Interesting.
number three after the food and after the vanity. It's already the health.
Yes.
And then education and tutorials is also a steady burner. Today, actually, practically anything under the sun is franchisable.
Uh-huh. And the last
So,
one, I'm sort of not really amused, but I think that will be a popular business. Sorry. I cannot help myself. That will be a popular business nowadays. Sorry, guys. Anyway, uh, me and my nonsense. I would like to acknowledge my, consultant. You know, my digital presence consultant, Jason. Jason, I've got my shirt. Thank you. And then of course, oh, actually, when I talk about my sister, she's actually listening to us, so that's her, our eldest. Okay, now let's go to the last one, which is about franchising. Are we still there?
yes.
So, is your
So let's talk
franchise?
about, yes. Let's talk about those among you who have a business. You
Mhm,
might consider franchising it. Okay,
mhm.
is your business franchisable? Yeah, you should be at least in business for 1 year so we can see the ups and downs. You should be beyond the trial and error stage,
Yeah, yeah.
and also better if you have achieved already your payback period. Okay.
Mhm,
Of course, you have to be able to copy the business according to the systems so that
mhm.
everybody can utilize it.
Yes,
You
yes,
have to be proven profitable. If you don't know how to make money, how would your franchises be able to make money?
yes, yes.
And
Of
of
course.
course, there has to be credibility to the clients, and there has to be also a need of you kind of business in other places.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Okay, so don't franchise your business if you don't have a
If
prototype. You need at
yes,
least
yes.
one outlet. If
Mhm.
you don't have an outlet, you cannot actually franchise it. Where will you train your franchisees if you don't have a facility?
That's right. That's right.
So again, as I said earlier, if your business is failing, if you think your franchises your franchises will sink along, and then also if the business depends too much on yourself,
Mhm.
that would be also a problem. We cannot Xerox brains. No?
Yes, yes. That's
If
right.
the gross margins is very small, not compensated by high volume, you would
Mhm,
have a problem. If
mhm.
it's a fad, I'm not fan of fad. So if it's a fad, because of the short longevity, it might not be a good idea. Also, if the skills levels are too high, if the
Yes,
training
yes.
will take longer than 3 months, it would not be a good idea.
Ah,
And of course,
okay.
also don't engage into franchising if, by developing your own franchise instead of getting a consultant, preferably RK.
Mm, mm, mm.
Then, of course, the advantage is being a franchisor, how you
Yes, I
make
love
money.
this.
So through franchise fees, collecting franchise fees, collecting royalties,
I
you
love
gain
that.
from selling, you expand the brand at the speed you want to grow,
Mhm.
you use other people's money, OPM, and of course
OPM, other.
you are less involved directly by yourself because the franchises are the one operating it.
Mm,
So if you
mm,
want
mm,
to expand your business, this is
mhm,
what has to be done. First of all,
mhm,
we do a proper franchise structure. I do this actually personally. For all my 800 plus global brands, what we developed, I did this personally. This is where we
mm,
calculate the franchise fees, royalties, length of agreement, investment package for the franchisees. There is
mm,
the space requirement, the logistics, when it comes to moving of stocks. Then we have a franchisor manual, which is the guide for our
mm,
franchisors, how to find franchisees, how to select them, how to treat them, and everything
mm,
what it means to be a franchisor.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
Then we have the operations manual. I have a lot of employees who do nothing else but operations manual.
Oh,
So I assigned
okay.
them. I assigned one each to one client. Uh, First of all, they're making the a complete operations manual is something like 400 to 1,000 pages. So
Wow.
really
So
depends on
everything is detailed. Like for example, a restaurant business, everything is detailed.
everything is detailed and everything is tailored to the particular client. So it's not copy paste.
Mm.
It's really I send my developers there. They're staying with the client for a week, and then they are doing the what we call first of all the pre-opening manual, all what the
Hmm.
franchise they have to do before they open the business,
Oh,
the
wow.
administration manual, all about the employees, and all about the money. Then
So
the specialty manual.
everything is covered
And
really.
yes, then the specialty manual, let's say like restaurant, kitchen manual, the cooking
Hmm.
procedures. Then the
Hmm.
operating standard manual is in the restaurant that would be the front of the house from opening to closing. Then the training manual and function reports.
Yes,
Then the
yes.
legal aspect, we have legal aspects for area franchise, for unit franchise, master franchising, all the side agreements to complete all the legal works for the franchisor needs to be a professional franchisor. Usually these are 10 to 15 contracts. We prepare for them. Then
But
marketing wise, a franchisor needs a franchise brochure, a franchise marketing kit, then the information, the franchise disclosure, franchise code is actually for Australia. I used this slide in Australia last time, so that's
okay.
why.
Mm.
Everything what the franchisor needs to promote his business. Okay, so that one was actually all about uh, business format franchising.
Hmm.
Alternatives to that, we have the product franchise, which is actually very seldom used. This is usually for beverages and car manufacturing.
Yep,
Quite
yep.
more often we are losing. Quite more often we are using licensing arrangements.
Okay.
Licensing arrangements, we understand if we don't have to to duplicate 100% of it. Okay, if it's only a
Yep.
transfer of technology, then we use licensing. Or today, what is common with apps, when we license out apps to other countries or so, you know.
Hmm.
Dealerships we use for gasoline stations and car businesses. Distributorship we usually use in the cosmetic industry, you know, for the cosmetic products, etc., etc. So
Hmm.
these are the alternatives.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of information to take in, no? Like we have basically covered the
eh,
basics and stuff like that, but I
fro-
think there is so much more. So what
from
my
A to
invitation,
Z.
we're coming down to our last 12 minutes. So
Yeah.
my invitation for them, and thank you so much for discussing with me earlier. So if you want to know more about, like, if you're looking at franchising a business, or you have an existing business that you are exploring the possibility of franchising as a way to expand it, then Rodolph would be the best person to contact. So he's offering a free initial consultation. All you
Yes.
have to do is send him an email. So I'll flash the details. So that's the number in the Philippines. That's a mobile number. That's his email address, rk@rkfranchise.com. And the website is www.rkfranchise.com. So you're not alone. So if you have an idea, if you have friends who are wanting to do a franchise, or they want to buy or start, flick Rodolph an email. That's a very good starting point. And believe me, it has benefited me before. I'm sure it will benefit you as well. And also
Yeah,
tonight,
you can get in touch with me also through WhatsApp or Viber or Emo or Potim or any kind of app. I practically have all of them.
yes.
So feel
So
free to get in touch.
tell me something about this special offer for tonight for our listeners and viewers. The ebook that you mentioned. What is this all
Yes,
about?
I wrote a book about franchising. It's more than 100 pages. It covers
100 pages.
sorry.
Yep.
It actually covers everything what franchising is all about. What I just talked now in less than an hour. You can read
Mm,
all about it in more than 100 pages,
mm.
and we can send you that for free. So just
Oh,
send us an email or send me a message or message Rex, and I'll send. We'll send my office will send you the ebook by email, and you can enjoy reading it. It's a PDF format.
Okay, so you
So
you you heard it right, folks. From Rexham Unshackled, send Rodolph, an email or text him or contact him through his Facebook page, Rodolph Kotik. Request for that email, or if you have inquiries, anything about franchising, believe me, he is the authority. He is the authority in franchising.
thank you.
So what else do we have here? Anything else that you would like us to know about franchising?
We are starting to, we actually are starting the expos again.
Yep.
We are having an expo tomorrow, starting tomorrow. If any of our visitors is has any business relation or is from the Western Visayas, we are starting tomorrow the Iloilo franchise virtual. It's a virtual expo. So
Uh-huh.
that is on iloilofranchise.com. We also have a
Okay.
magazine about franchising,
Uh-huh.
which we printed for the last 9 years, and which we
Mm-hmm.
are restarting by the end of this month as a virtual magazine. So
Mm-hmm.
that one is franchising.ph. So by next month, you can read every month about franchising in the Philippines and the world through
Mm-hmm.
franchising.ph.
Okay. That's good
Okay.
to know. So now you're going all around town again. Like so you're doing what?
Today, yeah, virtual. We are going virtual everywhere. We have the virtual Iloilo Franchise Expo. We have the Mindanao Franchise Expo in October. We have the Expo, Cebu Franchise Expo in November. But everything
Mm-hmm.
virtual. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing in real life. Everything is online.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Any parting words for us tonight, Rodolphe?
Franchising even now during the pandemic is actually a very good way to invest your money. Still the best way to invest your money. Especially in the Philippines, if you want to do it in the Philippines, because right now a lot of the franchisors give consideration, give
Mhm.
discounts,
Mhm.
and another very good factor right now are the landlords, because there are so many rental spaces, because a lot of businesses closed already. So it's
Mhm.
relatively easy to talk to landlords right now to get concessions from landlords.
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually quite a good time to start a business, or if you have a business and you want to expand it, it's actually a good time also to prepare now.
Mhm.
Uh, so once the pandemic is over, you can go full blast and franchise it out.
There's a lot of opportunities, no? I cannot help but
No,
flash this one just for the fun of it from our regular viewer, Bro Alan. Sa mga milyonaryo po dyan, mag-franchise na kayo ng
okay.
Jollibee.
I really
Ga-
don't know. I don't know why Jollibee is not yet in New Zealand. It
oh,
could be because of government regulations. Because some countries have regulations, let's say, on the fat content.
uh-huh.
Okay, that's why they will
Who
never
who
be in
cares?
certain.
Who cares
Uh,
about the fat as long as it's crunchy?
no, 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 no. Like in the EU, most countries have very strict regulations, and
Ah,
Australia has regulations. New Zealand is a little bit lax when it comes to
okay.
regulations. Okay, this could be one factor. It could also be that compared to other countries, New Zealand is relatively
Small
limited in
population.
populations.
Yes.
So, you need, if you start a whole country, you need also the foresight to open a certain number of outlets. I don't
Mm,
know if the viability for them to open there.
that's
So
right.
I
And,
really
and
don't know why. I really don't know why they are not there, or why I have not heard also from them. I know the expansion program for the
mhm.
next 10 years or so, but it's true, New Zealand is not part of it for the
Yeah, and I heard
longest time. Yes.
actually we've sort of acquired because a couple of friends are interested, like maybe pull some resources.
Mm.
The requirement also in terms of a net worth for a franchisee is quite astronomical. I mean, wow, you have
Yes,
to have this much millions to be able
yes,
to franchise their business. Anyway,
yeah.
thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, if you have any questions, anything related at all, I mean, anything related with franchising, please message him, message Rodolphe. You'll never go wrong. At least you'll have somebody, an expert in the field, to ask anything about it. And he's so gracious enough to offer us a free consultation, initial consultation. All
Anytime.
right. So stay
All right.
stay inside the studio. I'll get back to you. I'll just say goodbye to everyone, and then I'll get back to you. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for inviting me, Rex. Thank you, everybody who listened to me. It's a pleasure. Last year I was able to be twice in New Zealand to do
Yes.
my show live.
Yes.
This year or next year it won't happen. So online only. Okay.
All right.
Maraming,
Okay. So,
maraming salamat. Daghang salamat ang tanong.
hanggang salamat. Okay. All right. So there you go. Before I end this live stream, again, I would like to thank Pasadja. Check out Pasadja NZ in their FB page. So they actually customize items, apparel. They do gifts and stuff like that. So check them out. Filipino owned, by the way, in New Zealand. So it's really good. Let us support them. Not only because they give you this very nice shirt, Unshackled shirt, but they're really worth supporting. It's really nice, comfortable, nice fit. Okay, so next week at 7:30, I will be joined by a successful Pinoy businessman here in New Zealand. He is a builder and developer from the South Island. He is a very his is a very compelling success story that will truly inspire everyone. So join us again next week, 7:30 Thursday. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for allowing us to serve you by letting us share our knowledge with you. I would say unshackle yourself. It is the only way to live. Be free. Good night. God bless everyone.